Hello. Check in for the first three chapters of Winter's Orbit, a 2021 science fiction romance novel by Everina Maxwell. Um, Gay romance, um, where it's a vast galactic empire which has to the emperor she has to make a quick marriage to keep all the political ties between one of her very minor planets and her rule. So she gets her least favorite grandson to marry the newly widowed husband of a of a another another one of these Vikra. I'll get my names right eventually, maybe for the review. Vikra princes Tam, who had been married to Janai for 5 years, but has died, so they say, in a flybug accident. And yes, so her this is her least favorite prince, which we can tell because he has no idea exactly. Well, why do I have to marry him? And like, this is the great narrative thing that Maxwell is doing here is making Prince Keem a wastrel idiot who has no idea the political situation, and indeed what this apparently all has to do with is a treaty between the emperor, the her empire, and the resolution, which is they basically have a trade route that they're allowed to have because of this treaty. And if any of their alliance marriages are not in function, it would give the auditor, who has just recently arrived, the chance to consider the treaty null and void. So it's a bit of a rigmarole to get there, but yes, it's a royal marriage that has to happen, and it has to happen immediately, even though that Prince Tam has been dead for only like a month. So yes, Prince Kaim is he's kind of a lovable dumbass. He's definitely been a wastrel. He's had all sorts of indiscreet marriage stuff. He doesn't do stiff and formal. He is very kind of he very basically just sort of says what he thinks, which is a PR nightmare, and and he has to be basically kind of to- clicked into line by the emperor to actually get going with this marriage, and he's like kind of quite horrified that's like, oh, I should be marrying this poor person just a month after they've died. It's like, why can't we, and he's got a kind of very human concerns, whereas the emperor is like, no, there's political concerns and you will regulate yourself to them. On the other side, Prince Jaim, who is of this small planet, which is very much on the outskirts, very much inferior, very much looked down upon. We get um, the um, the actual kind of the all the death rites, and there's a bunch of kind of officials from the empire who are just shoving him around, telling him what to do, and he has to basically kind of really kind of go appeal right to the top to be able to do even a slight amount of his own culture's mourning thing in there, and saying like, you need to do at least this, or else it'll piss my people off if they don't even get this. So you very much got that kind of the colonizer and the colonized here. I'm not quite sure what the thing is, but it has that feel to it, and is definitely seems to be in mourning. Um, there's very much a kind of a Bella-like feel to Prince Giant, that feels like, oh, I'm just so unworthy, and he is Prince. And when he views Prince Kiam, it I can't Khayyam, it's very much like, oh, he's so kind of, you know, charming and so easygoing and so easy to talk with, and he's must be a horrible disappointment, and I'm gonna mess this up, and it's all this kind of like, oh, I'm terrible, terrible, terrible. Whereas kind of like, oh God, this is like, you know, they were a beautiful couple. He's so put together. He's so smart, and all this sort of stuff. He thinks like I'm just a kind of a fuck up, kind of a nothing, no nothing prince, but this guy's like the real deal. So that's like a little bit. There's just a little bit. It's just like, come on, figure it out. They have sexual chemistry. Um, you know, how long before they start banging? Or will we have a long stretched out, oh, I cannot, oh, I cannot, because it's 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 um it's interesting. It is written by a woman. It'll be interesting to see exactly how sexual it is. I'm assuming it will be fairly hot. Um, there's definitely some ancillary, I guess. Like the ancillary justice is like all the kind of the galactic politics and all that stuff, and empires and stuff going. We'll see how that goes. Prince Tam was in the military. He seems to have a lot of secret files. Everyone seems to just shut down the case and ignore um, Prince 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 to ignore Jayam, who's very much kind of cast as kind of the elegant, kind of shy, kind of, oh, I'm not worthy kind of lady, even though she's obviously super hot and and super intelligent. That she is more the princess, I guess, than Jaime, who seems to be kind of just a goofy guy. Um, and there's also just sort of an interesting thing of being the exotic prince to what seems to be more coded as kind of I can see a white bumbling Brit guy. Everine Maxwell is British, UK, so I'm sure that she is. It seems like she is taking a bit of her cues from like a British Empire, if they had princes who are marrying into different municipalities that they controlled or something like that. So we'll have to see how that goes, and maybe just how dark things will get that way, how complicated things will get, or if it's going to be all kind of frothy, kind of interpersonal romance. And of course, we get the little bark. Theo, go on, go on. So we'll have to see how that. We'll have to see how it goes. But I have to say, the thing that gave me the best hope with this book is right at the very, very opening. It talks about the light coming in the windows and lighting up and trying to light up the face of the emperor, who's got very, I have this sense of very severe cheekbones, and the phrase being like, basically, the sun gave up because there's no way we're gonna do it. It was about gave up for, like, there's no use in trying and lighten things up in here, which is like, oh, okay, so this is gonna have a certain amount of humor to it, and I guess you can get that just from the conflicting viewpoints of the two princes, and how they both in some ways are misjudging each other and seeing each other as the perfect princes, who are obviously they both think the other one doesn't want them, and when it's like maybe they do. So yeah, that is Winter's Orbit to start off with, a good fun book to listen to, and hopefully it'll be involving. I think it will. I'm involved in them so far. All right, more videos later.